Well, hello. And here we are, Global Waterworks, the journey to productivity through coaching. And we're going to talk here about leadership style. This is very important because leadership style, the style that you have, is relatively difficult to change. But first, we're going to identify it, what your style is, and then give you some tools to work on it to make yourself and your team much more productive. As you go down through the training, you'll see a form which you'll be able to use to identify your management style. So leadership style, like I said, style is difficult to change. It's just hard. Because most managers have been doing it for quite a while. And so it's difficult to change, but there's high value in moving towards a coaching manager who moves his entire team towards the reflective coaching model. So there's two kinds of coaching. Is directive coaching, where you're telling, basically. You're volunteering opinions, you should do this, you should do that. You're directing actions, go do this. You explain, you exert control. So you're task-oriented, you're focused on task. And you'll find that that's not scalable, because every time the person wants to do something else, you come back in your office and say, well, what should I do now? You want to develop your team members to think. And you do that through reflective coaching. You sit there and you may have to bite your tongue, but you got to withhold your opinion. You ask questions. When they say something, well, how did that work for you? Or what was the result? Did it achieve what you expected? Ask questions. Initially, it's going to take a lot more time for you to prepare for a meeting as a reflective coach than a directive coach. As a directive coach, I assume you've done it before and you can tell them 1, 2, 3, here's what you got to do. Whereas in reflective, you'll be asking them questions, getting them to think, and from there, improving their performance. So that you're having conversations with them around substantive results and substantive action rather than down at the base level telling them everything they have to do. Directive and reflective coaching. You want to move towards the reflective coach. I think in terms here of baseball is directive coaching. The pitcher just gave up 2 home runs, and the coach is on the mound, and certainly directing him how to pitch to the next batter. That's directive. That's telling. In reflective coaching, you're asking open-ended questions, and sitting and listening takes a lot longer. If that manager went out to the mound and says, well, that last fastball you put over the middle of the plate, found its way in the left field bleachers, what do you think about that? Rather than, you saw what happened, here's what you got to do. Whereas in reflective coaching, ask the open-ended question. Listen for the answer. Don't make suggestions. When you get the answer, ask another question. Well, how do you think that's going to work? When you've done that in the past, how did it work? Are there any other things that you think you might do that would achieve a better result? What kind of results do you want to achieve in this instance? And listen, 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 listen. The 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, is you listen as much as you talk. So the purpose of reflective coaching, getting the team member and the team very, very cognizant of their behavior, what they did and what the results were. You can see it here. Expanding on areas where they're competent and working on areas that they're yet to become competent. This is what you're doing to help them improve their productivity, improving the productivity of your team, and advancing your team to being literally top performers all the time. With reflective coaching, individuals become self-sufficient. they have confidence, they're self-sufficient, they can move into situations and reference back to the similar situation that they were in, that they worked through, did well, and they understand what they did and why they did it. So the number one up here, are they conscious of their behavior, is so important. And then to work through all of the elements. Finally, there's the growth curve. We talked earlier about, team members and how they're going to grow through your coaching, and how as you coach them, your coaching style is going to change as they improve, because they come from the far, as you look at this slide here, the far left where it's directive. You almost have to tell them what to do. They're an apprentice performer. Maybe they're even shadowing another performer, another team member in the organization to see how things work. But you need to be cognizant of moving them from that position to become an established performer, the normative phase. You get through that phase and you will see the performance curve move up dramatically. And then you get in the zone of transformation. They're an expert performer. And this is a time when you're doing probably very little suggesting. They're probably coming to you and with the objective they're after in the situation, what they're going to do in the situation, how they're going to do it, why they're going to do it, how it works. They're going to give you all of the measurements, and they'll continue to perform. If you try and coach them like a normative, their performance is they're going to get disappointed, and their performance is going to decline. Your objective as a manager is to move every one of your people from the left side of this scale into the normative, and then many of your people should be able to get to the integrative and the expert performer. And then you have a top performing, productive team. Go through the training, fill out the form on your style, see where you're at, and make a commitment to grow, to become a manager who coaches, who brings all their people from the apprentice stage as far and as close as you can get to the expert performer.